Call the meeting to order. The Plan Commission of the Village of North Hudson virtual meeting of January 20th, 2021. Jessica, would you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Members Anderson?
Present.
Bachman?
Present.
Howard?
Here.
Mitchell?
Here.
Schneider? Absent. Wecken?
Here.
I'm here too.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mike.
Okay, we do have a quorum. And then the meeting minutes from our last meeting of December 16th, 2020. You're a motion to approve the minutes.
I move approval.
Second?
I second.
Any corrections, additions? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the meeting minutes of December 16th, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That has passed. Thank you. We have a public hearing for a preliminary plat application to create the Ridges Third Edition, a major subdivision containing 20 lots located on Alta Avenue North in the Ridges subdivision. The applicant is DCCI Investments. Discussion and possible recommendations. Somebody representing DCCI just want to give a brief synopsis of what you want to do?
Sure. Hi there. My name's Kip Johnson. I'm with the ACA, representing Ron Derrick with DCCI. He called me. He's having some technical difficulties trying to log on. Oh, looks like he's getting on right now. I see Ron's iPad down in the corner. So
Great.
he might be jumping in here shortly. But
I thought we said no Rons.
So basically, it's just the last phase of the Ridges, the last 20 lots, the continuation of Alta Avenue, just to connect the two streets in, and then the one little remaining cul-de-sac bulb there to finish off the single-family portion of the development there. Pretty straightforward for the most part. We're aware that there's some needs for the booster station to be installed as part of this last phase to get the water pressures where they need to be acceptable. Had some conversations with Kevin on that, and I think some of that's kind of getting worked out, hopefully. Otherwise, we're open for questions. Obviously, there'll be a final plat submitted after this, assuming everything gets approved at this stage, along with developer's agreement and all the standard stuff that goes along. But I think the last phase out there went pretty well with the twin home portion, and hoping this phase goes and continues on at the same rate.
Okay, before we open it up to a public hearing, I'll just make the comment that we did get an email today that Brian Work, the building inspector, looked at the plat and had no issues with it. And we did have a letter from Cedar Corp, and Kevin had 9 points. And if you want to just see if anything's different or what you want to say about that, Kevin.
Yeah, I guess a lot of these items are pretty standard with a new development. You know, we're going to require a developer's agreement. There'll be a 14-month warranty period after all the improvements have been accepted. I guess one of the items, number 5, this is something that we talked about at Public Works last night, is the sidewalk, the layout of it. There is a crossing proposed just north of Alta Court North. That's that cul-de-sac. And ultimately, the Public Works Committee recommended that that crossing be moved from that location up to 10th Street, where there would be a stop sign. Just, you know, safety was one of the concerns, and then instead of maintaining 2 crosswalks, we'd be down to 1. So they made that recommendation last night. And like Kip had alluded to with this phase, just because of the higher topography, DNR requires 35 PSI for the first floor for the buildings themselves. Some of those are going to be under that requirement. It's part of the whole original development that was looked at a number of years ago. There has been provisions put in the Chief Jansen's park building. There are water main connections that are stubbed out on the floor anticipation of this booster station, so we just noted that, that would need to be fully operational before any building permits were issued. So those are the main highlights. I can open it up to any questions.
Okay. Kip, is there any problems with you meeting all those conditions?
Well, we talked a little bit with Kevin earlier on the sidewalk, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows our thought process on that. We understand what Kevin's saying and what the public works says about keeping it all on one side, but we also thought there was an added benefit of having it on the south side for the portion that we did, because instead of the sidewalk crossing 9 driveways and having all those potential conflicts, we're only crossing 5 driveways by moving it to the south side. So we did see an added benefit of doing it that way, and that was kind of our thought process, just to avoid the conflicts with as many driveways as possible.
Okay, Rob, did you want to comment on that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I will. I think you're missing a lot of other properties that might want to have access to a sidewalk, and that's all of the homes that are on the north side of Alta Avenue North that would not have access. So I would think that we would recommend that you provide a sidewalk that continues the sidewalk that exists on the stub northbound of Alta Avenue Way, right off of Vale Way North. I know I can just put my phone up here. You can kind of see the light. Can you see the white line on there? I don't know if you can see it, but that's the sidewalk, right? Sorry.
Middle school.
Yeah, the sidewalk's there. There's an existing sidewalk on that stub of Alta Avenue Way. And I think you can connect right to that and then extend up on the north side of Alta North. So, you see it? The red line?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, I think that's where the sidewalk should go.
I kind of like that idea too.
And it would connect, really knit that whole development together with the existing development to the south. I think that's the continuity that we'd be looking for.
And maybe, I know that as much as you said that you wanted to take away, Public Works said they wanted to have one less crosswalk. I do like the idea of 2 sidewalks. That's where the kids go out and play, and that's where you take your walks and you go up and down both sides of the street. But I think sidewalks on north and south. And then maybe we do have another crosswalk. I know that it's more for the city work, but this is also the nicest part, or one of the nicest parts that's being added in on the ridges right now.
Yeah, my only, there's that little stub of Alta Avenue North, and there is no sidewalk on both sides. It's only on one side. So my intention or impression is that if we make that continuous, I think that gets us where we need to go.
So our current layout did tie into that stub sidewalk that you're talking about.
Yeah.
We were tying in all the way in along there. We were just crossing where our new Alta Court cul-de-sac is being added in. That's where we were switching from the one side to the other and then running it along the south side.
Oh.
And we were tying into the trail there. So that trail's already in on the east side of 105.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another benefit we thought of leaving it on that south side, is we're tying into that existing trail system that's there.
That makes sense too.
So, there are benefits of doing it on either way. So, and I can appreciate everyone's concern there. We presented the way that we thought made sense, but obviously it's open for discussion.
There is no sidewalk on either side of the road on this.
You're looking at the plat. You have to be looking at the engineering drawings. The engineering drawing shows all the sidewalk layout on it. So if you looked at the site plan on the engineering drawings, it might make it more clear where we were proposing the sidewalk.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you got, the plat just shows the actual lot lines themselves, not all the improvements.
Well, my only kind of concern is the directness for the pedestrians. And if you've already got a sidewalk, we're not going to build a sidewalk on the east side of Alta Avenue Way, which is existing. There's already a sidewalk on the west side of Alta Avenue Way. Mm-hmm. So my thought is, if that continues, why would we want to cross over for whatever reason? Maybe I think you just can continue it across, but on the top, across Alta Avenue North on the top edge, on the north and west side. So that's my only, just kind of a flow. I mean, a natural flow that pedestrians would feel comfortable using rather than having to cross the street anyway. But
Yeah, like I said before, I totally understand. We are connecting it all in.
yeah,
Our only thought was having less conflicts with driveways because sidewalks and driveways cause issues just as much as crosswalks. So
They do,
as
but
well as
also
tying it into the existing trail system.
when a parent tells their child they can go out and play in the driveway, or you can go up and down the sidewalk, but stay on this side of the street, these are going to be family homes, as in all the homes are that are being built are family, and these are going to be nicer family homes. So, there is that part to consider, that when you tell your kids stay on this side of the road, I mean, do we want them all crossing the streets and more people and more kids crossing where the kids could still ride bicycles on the sidewalks?
Well, just so you know, kids don't stay on the sidewalk.
No,
That's the last place they stay.
not up in that neighborhood, I know.
It kind of goes with Rod's point of having a continuous flow. When you're riding a bike or walking, it's nice to be able to go one continuous path rather than switch sides, or in the wintertime, you might not find that other side as easily too. So I agree with Rob on the keeping it on the north side of the
Hi, Gene.
Alta.
Gene joined us.
I concur
my
with
only
that.
other thought on it is that the village has been pretty consistent about one side of the sidewalk on one side of the street. We really have not, as a body, pushed developers to both sides of the street. And I feel I feel like in this area especially, it's fine on one side. I think I always look for the sidewalk on one side or the other, and as long as it's on one side, I'm good. I'm happy to walk there.
Okay. Are there any other comments from commission members, or else we can go to a public meeting? Anyone else from the commission have anything?
No.
Okay. In that case, I'd look for a motion to open this up to a public hearing.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of going to public hearing, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're in public hearing at 7:14. Does anyone from the public wish to speak? Anyone at all? Anyone have any comments, questions?
I have a question. I'd like to find out, I'm wondering if you can show the plot so that we could see it, or if there's a place I can look for it.
Does anyone know how we do that? I mean,
Just open email.
You guys need to share the
if we're in the
screen.
building, I know how they would do it, but. Okay, look at Tom's.
That's good. If you just hold that for just a minute. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Sharing the screen is on in case you guys need to.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I need to pull up the email in order to do that.
You could buy a copy of the plat for 25 cents at the village hall.
Oh, there we go.
There you got it.
Who got that? Whose screen is that?
Kip.
Nice.
Okay, does somebody want to describe this, or what are we doing?
Turn on your speaker, microphone.
There you go. So you guys can see my screen here now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a copy of that's the preliminary plat that was submitted.
Right.
I can go to, here's the actual site plan as well,
Ah,
which makes it a little more clear. That shows the sidewalk coming up here.
yeah.
The crossing we were talking about, and then bring it around the south side. And then this trail is already in. This is the trail that I put in at the last phase that goes back into the park. So this is where I was saying our thought process was keeping it on the south side. We're only crossing these 5 driveways and then no driveway crossings here. And then we are crossing here to tie back into the one that comes up Alta here. Where if we brought it along the north side, you're crossing more driveways. You're crossing 9 driveways instead of 5 driveways.
But you're also serving more people directly then.
That is correct. So there are benefits to both. It depends how you look at it, I guess.
I can always find the orange versus the apple.
And like
But you said there's a trail next to 105?
Yep,
Yeah,
so
that goes to the park.
105. So there's a paved trail that comes along the intersection here and goes south into the park right here.
Okay, so if the sidewalk were on the north side of the road, you'd have to cross the road there from the trail to get onto the sidewalk.
Well, then the sidewalk would run along the north side, and like Kevin said, then there'd be a crossing here that already exists. On 10th
Then you'd have to come back to the trail.
Yep, then you'd come back to the trail, and the trail would just be kind of a standalone system then at that point.
And that's all of 40 feet or 30 feet, isn't it? I mean, that distance?
I think it's just under 100.
That's
No, I mean,
a good way to get a little more extra.
from the intersection back.
About 100 feet.
Oh, okay.
This is Mary. So on 10th Street, the extension to, I think that's Adam Drive in the town, is that a sidewalk on there too?
There's a sidewalk here.
Yeah, so that's why we're saying the north side.
North.
And one crosswalk, it connects all the way to the south to Alta, that's already stubbed. And yeah, I realize that it crosses driveways, but you know, if
I think I'd reinforce that we're serving more households by having the driveway on that side of the street.
the sidewalk on the north side.
North and west, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a huge deal breaker. I just want to give you guys our thought process the way we laid it out. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still in the public hearing. Is there any questions from the public? If not, we'll cut out of public hearing.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Jeff and Mary at 281 Brandon Drive. We are directly behind lots 119 and 120.
Okay.
Can you give us an idea of, are you planning to clear cut this entire area? Are you planning to leave the vegetation? And also, when is this going to begin?
Kip?
So
Kip, do you want to answer that?
Sure, I can answer that. There will be grading that occurs on these pads, and there is some drainage that needs to be taken care of too. So there will be, obviously, all the trees need to be coming out for the houses themselves and to get the grading work for the drainage. I mean, as we get farther west here, that'll all stay natural, but for the pads themselves, there will be, vegetation removed to get the grading corrected.
And when are we planning to begin this project?
I'm assuming first thing in the spring as weather allows, and once we get all our approvals in place. So,
okay.
What's the depth of the building envelope from the back lot line on those to the back of the building envelope?
Thank you. Good question. What happened here?
trying to pull up the plant, but it kind of locked up on me here.
It looks like, I mean, there's a 30-foot drainage utility easement in there.
Yeah,
So
there's a setback. I mean, there's a setback as well, and then we have an easement that's going to be within that setback for drainage. So
What's the setback?
I believe it's 30 feet.
Yeah, it looks like it.
No, our concern, guys, and you have to understand, is we've enjoyed nothing but woods behind us for all these years. And then we're looking at somebody bucked up to our back property line. So it is a concern.
And we're talking really old oak trees. It's really disappointing to hear that that's all going to be taken out.
It always is. It always.
Just out of curiosity, is there a price range on these lots?
You there, Ron? I don't know if Ron wants to jump in on that or not. I'm not sure if he has them all final priced out yet or not.
An idea would be great.
Just give us an idea of what the price point on these homes is going to be.
Well, the lot itself, but I thought the price point together is right around, I don't know, I thought I saw that somewhere, right?
Yeah, I assume it's going to be similar to what's been out there in the other single family homes. That same kind of product is what's going to be out here. So
300 to 500.
yeah, I would guess in that range, probably.
Five
If
or
it's single
seven.
family, I'm guessing closer to the 500 range would be my guess.
Yep. Did I hop in there now? Did I
Yep.
get the work?
Yep, you're there.
Okay, sorry. We have not priced the lots out, but the other lots, the last phase, they run from 70 to 80. These will be a little bit more expensive. Homes will probably start at 500 and go up to 600, I would guess.
All right, thanks.
So will they be similar to the homes that you've put up on 10th Street North recently?
Correct.
Okay.
Kip, I have a question.
Sure.
What is your grade drop from the north of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 lots on the north side of Alta Avenue North? What's your drop in grade from the north line to the south, to the street?
I can see if I can pull up the grading plan here.
Because I wonder if you really, when you say there's a lot of clear cutting, that's kind of a.
So this kind of, if you can see my screen now, it's kind of what the grading plan's looking like. So we got
Why are the pads so big? That's my question. I mean, that's a big pad. Are the houses that big?
I think the pad is kind of sized to accommodate a variety of different style houses. If you have a Rambler, you have a lot bigger footprint than if you have a 2-story home. So I think we're kind of keeping the options open until it's sold, and
What's the size? How deep is that pad?
What did we have there? I don't know if we called it out.
I mean, you're excavating and massaging a lot of dirt for a pad that may never be a pad. That may never be a house.
Well, it'll be a house. I guarantee it'll be a house.
To some scale, but you're excavating a parcel that's probably twice as big as the home that will sit on it.
I don't think it's twice as big, no. I think I want to say I don't have my CAD drawing open, but it's probably, I think we're like 65 feet or so.
Square?
I could probably open up the drawing here if you want to know.
65 foot square?
We might have been we might have been like 5 or 10 feet deeper on those just to allow some flexibility.
119.
I think sometimes you overburden the demand on the lot based on a hypothetical that a home's going to be, and you don't know. So I'm nervous about that too. I really, the woods are important, and the amount of trees that you disturb and tear down, you can't replace. So I really do think you should Derek should figure out what the houses are, or figure out a couple of options that minimize these footprints, because those are big, deep lots, or deep pads.
Actually, those pads are the exact same size as what we have on the other development, and a lot of times we approach that 30-foot setback. So,
well, look at the pads on the lower portion, just on the south side of that same Alta Avenue North.
Yeah, it's the same pad size.
Yeah, look on pad number 108.
It's the same size.
Yeah, no, but look at the contours.
Deeper.
Go to the next drawing you had there, Kip.
With the contours.
Yeah, with the contours, with the grading. Now zoom in there. So is that proposed grades, or is that existing?
So the dashed are existing, the solid are proposed.
Well, look at that. Look at the size of that leftover rectangle right above number 108. It's half the size of the parcel you're.
No. You're not looking at the whole pad. You're only looking at the top. So these are walkout locks on the south side.
Yeah.
So this is the top part's basically where your garage is, and then your house sits back here, and it's a walkout. That's why you have contours in between there, because you're making up the 9-foot grade difference from your garage to your walkout.
Those are under the building, basically.
Yeah. So the pad, if you want to see the pad,
yeah,
that's why we got this hatch. Your pads are the same on every single lot out here.
Oh, this is Jeff and Mary again, directly behind 119, 120. Is there any plan to plant any barrier or border vegetation behind those lots to somehow mitigate what's going to be happening with all the vegetation that's on those lots now?
We don't have a specific landscaping plan put together for each one of these lots. I can have Ron comment on what he typically does on his lots, but I'm guessing they might do some landscaping back there.
Drainage easement that you have marked, how much excavating do you have to do back there for that drainage? And what will that do to the tree back there? So how much work do you have to do back there in your drainage easement?
I couldn't hear you very good. I heard dogs barking.
I heard that too. How much
Zoom.
clear cutting or work or excavation do you have to do in the drainage easement behind those said properties from 120 to 124?
To get the drainage to work so we're diverting the water where it needs to go so it doesn't go into the houses. Basically what you see here in the dark lines here on the north is the drainage ditch. So we're running drainage down to the east and we're also running it down to the west. So
that will be all clear cut and disturbed land.
Correct.
Okay, gentlemen, let me just tell you something. We have probably 200 or 300-year-old oaks that are right on that border. If you do that, those trees will die.
They will die. They are red oaks, and anytime we disturb the land,
That's correct, sir.
I cut trees. I cut 7 today. I have another 11 to do tomorrow. Anytime there's any disruption of the ground, this red oak wilt is it's devastating right now.
Yeah, they're likely to die eventually anyway. The red oak will just go at them one way or another. So, you know what I mean? You'd like to protect it all, but I'm not sure you can.
No, at this point, you try to mill them, or you try to get, if you want to lock the carbon, you try to mill it or do something productive with it.
Yeah. It's just sad. We have so many red oaks that are just going away because of oak wilt, and
very sad.
Not much we can do. Sorry to say.
I would like to say that if you do plan to take all that vegetation down, I think it would be fair to come up with a plan on what we would do to replace some of that. So I think that's definitely what we would want to see. And Jeff and Mary, do you guys agree?
No, we agree completely.
We do. Yep.
Yeah.
A tree reforestation plan would be good, and I know a lot of communities take caliper inches and replace it on a 2-to-1 rate or something like that. I mean, it could be a lot of trees.
So that's a 30-foot wide easement back there, right? Between the back of the property and the end of the corporate limits, right? So those dark lines at the top where is the grading plan?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any way to do like a gully that's only 10 feet wide for drainage to go down to the west and leave a buffer of 10 feet on each side?
So the drainage ditch itself is only a 5-foot wide bottom drainage ditch. The drainage where the water's actually going to be flowing is not very wide at all.
Okay.
The challenge and the issue you have here is the grades on the north side of the property versus the grades of the road that we need to tie into. There's a lot of grade change there that we need to make up, and your housing pad is flat. I mean, these are all just standard lots here, standard flat lots. So I mean, we're kind of stuck with the grades that we're stuck with. We're not going to change the grade obviously off our property, and we can't change the grades of the roads we're tying into. We're tying in on either side and having to meet design standards on that too. So we're kind of stuck with what we're stuck with.
Yeah, you have a lot of slope to the north that is coming downhill into this property.
And that's exactly what we're trying to make up. I mean, you got to make up that grade difference somewhere.
Right. You got to come down, cut the hill so you can produce
Correct.
a drainage easement,
Correct.
a drainage swale,
Yep, exactly.
which takes you down deeper.
Correct.
Mm.
Yep.
I mean, it creates a steeper hill because you got to go down deeper to create the swale to catch the drainage and keep it from going in the house.
Like I said, this being the last phase out there, everything else is designed. The roads are stubbed where they're stubbed, or the layout kind of is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We can only change things so much, and I think we've kind of done what we can.
Right.
And work within the space we have.
So, Kip, on that northern side, north of the drainage ditch, what kind of a side slope do you have? Is it like a 3-to-1 or?
Yeah, it varies in there. There's 3-to-1. There might be a couple areas that are hair steeper.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-to-1, maybe a couple 2.5-to-1s, but most of it's 3-to-1s.
Okay.
It's flatter up here. Up here, we're closer to probably closer to 4-to-1 on some of these, but
Sure.
I'd say on average probably a 3-to-1.
Okay. So it's getting fairly steep then. So I don't think we can really steepen that up anymore then.
No, I don't think so.
Say, Kip, approximately how far are the residences away from that property, from that north property line? How far away are the homes? Do you have any idea?
I can see if I can pull up I'm gonna have to stop sharing my screen here, I think. See if I can pull up my CAD drawing while I got you here.
Oh, they're not far. I mean, shoot. Wait a minute.
You got an aerial view of it, Rob?
Yeah, that red line is the property line, and you can see the parcels in the house. I mean, they're really quite.
Well, one down in the right corner there is really.
It's right on it. Yeah,
right on it. See where there's concern for all that, particularly
Yeah,
that.
I'm on the county GIS. I might be off a little bit, but this is what's on the county site.
Mhm.
That's close.
Yeah, it's got the same shape of the road.
Yeah.
Over there. I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't tell. Sorry, I'm just looking on my phone, but
That's pretty cool stuff.
Is right on it. The corner of the driveway apron, 20 feet away from the garage. It's on the corner of the property line.
Unfortunately, most of the stuff in the township, they probably didn't even survey the older ones, unfortunately. So you'll see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where that, I'm going to just put this up. Do you know that that's an issue, Kip?
No, their driveway is on their property, but it's like we have the stake there. It's just off the corner of that stake.
Right there, yeah. This could be off 5 feet or more.
Yeah, they're on their property, but it's like right there.
Yeah.
When do you plan on staking?
I mean, that's actually a good question. I mean, maybe, have you put stakes down, Kip? Or have you staked out this line so the owners can see where the line is?
We haven't done any staking yet, no.
I think that might be a good gesture, at least for them to see, right? I mean, don't you think?
What would you like to see staked, I guess would be the question.
That line, that edge, where is it on the edge?
Northern.
The property lines.
The north property line?
Northern line. The edge of your disruption.
They always do it before we do construction. They have to stake it anyhow, and we do a pre-construction meeting there anyhow. So.
No, right, but could you put a line down, just put a couple stakes in, put the corners down, and how far you can go. But so at least you can see it from, I guess, from this corner. Where am I? From this corner here, or here, over.
Correct.
Yeah, but certainly
Can you guys see my screen again or not?
Not yet.
No.
I tried to share my CAD drawing here. Let me try again. Share screen. Do I need to get permission from someone to share it, or?
Oh, it's green on
Did you
mine.
do it earlier?
It's on.
Now, can you see it?
No.
No, nothing yet.
Wasn't yours? We were looking at yours before, right?
Correct. There you go. Now can you?
No.
Nothing yet.
All right.
You.
Technology's great when it works.
Mhm.
I think if you could stick a post down for the 124, 321, lots 120 through 24.
119 as well, thank you.
119, sure.
Thanks.
You can kind of almost imagine it, but yeah, 119 through 124. Just set that line with a stick down. It'd be nice to have each of those north-south properties, but I think as long as we see the north line,
Correct. Yep.
couple, series of flags.
That'd be greght.
That'd help them visualize what they're up against.
I don't know if it's going to let us change anything, but at least you'll have an you'll be able to indicate to the owners on the north side what's happening.
Yeah, we're all very curious.
And that way too, it gives us an opportunity to look at what we can do, to plan and plant or whatever we can do on our side too, if we understand better where that line is.
Who's speaking?
Sure.
I don't know who that was.
Mary Meacham, 281 Brandon Drive.
Oh, Mary, I see your name there.
Directly north of.
You don't have your picture on. You don't have your video on.
No, that's a different Mary.
Oh, that's you, Mary. All right.
Now you can see my screen, I bet, huh?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
Yep. So that's the area.
Oh, there you go.
So here's the property line right here.
Nice. See, it is a little different. It's a little more generous than what the county site shows.
Obviously, this house here, just north of 123, is the closest. The rest of them have, a little bit more space.
Yep.
And like Ron was saying, this driveway, it's fairly close to our property line.
It's right to the left of the screen you're showing.
No.
Yes.
Yep, that one.
Yes. Right to the north of 119 and 120.
there,
Both
yep.
both those plots border our property.
Yep, they do.
The border take from 119 back to 124. That would be very helpful.
Maybe
Can
there's
you
few
zoom in
trees-
a little bit?
Maybe you can plant a few trees on their yard.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's the trampoline. Yeah, I've got
I
some
know, I got the
animals
goat.
that we're gonna have to move. I've got some chickens that we're gonna have to move. So you better get the stakes up, please.
Where are the chickens?
It looks like this drawing is a little dated because that looks like a trampoline that hasn't been there for a couple of years. So
The chickens are right on or over the property line.
Yeah, there you go. Well, damn chickens.
Well, the point is, give us.
Let them build there.
Yes, there's the drainage issue. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Those chickens are always like that.
But seriously, guys, staking this is going to give us an opportunity to move some things that we might need to.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll be somewhat limited what we can actually put in for stakes this time of year with the frozen ground and this. Well, we can probably put some lath or something, maybe some ribbon or something out there.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful.
Just
Hey,
gonna have
Kip, are we saying it's 30 feet from the back of the pad to the property line? That drainage easement, is that what we're saying there? The distance from the yellow to the property line is 30 feet?
Yeah, it's closer to 35.
From the dotted line to the property line is 30 feet. Is that correct?
Yep. So where the pad's showing right now is 35, and we have about 5 feet to the actual drainage easement.
So the drainage easement, geez, the drainage easement on the east side stops at, it's split. So lots 21, 120 and 121 don't have the drainage easement.
So there's a high point in between those two lots. So there's no need to have a drainage easement across those two lots because there's no water draining from one lot to the other. Once we get to 119 and 122, that's where you got water draining from one lot to the other, so the easement's required at that point. But basically, the high point ditch is in between these two lots.
So, Kip,
is the water heading west?
Correct. We had part of it heading west, part of it heading east.
So, Kip, would that high ground be undisturbed then, or are they still going to excavate and clear that off?
There'll be a little bit of clearing still to get an actual channel in there that divert the water around the houses.
Okay.
Oh, it's just coming through, like between 120 and 121, it's coming south. Is that right?
It's heading west and then east.
Oh, I see. 21 is going west or east, and 2020 is going
There's a
west.
high point
Got
here
it.
that'll be draining this way. There's a high point here that'll be
Yeah.
draining that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And obviously there'll be drainage in between each pad too, but the main channel will be going east and west.
Yeah, I just didn't see the drainage easement starting on the west side of 120. So 120 is heading west, and 121 is heading east. Got it.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the public?
Hey, Kip, is that dirt road gonna stay there then?
That's just the driveway that serves this existing house right here on lot.
Yeah, is that gonna stay as is?
No.
Well, that goes away.
That'll go away
Okay.
when the road goes in.
Yeah.
And they'll have a new driveway access off Alta Court North here.
Okay, does anybody have any, from the public, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to come out of public hearing.
I'll
I
move.
don't hear anybody now. Well, there we are.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of coming out of public hearing, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, we are out of public hearing at 7:42. Thank you. Members of the Plan Commission, any other comments or questions? Other than the two things we've been talking about, is there any other items on this thing that we need to discuss? It is pretty straightforward.
Well, I do have a question. So, and now that we've kind of moved my eye over to the far left, what is the can you describe the conservation easement on the very west edge?
That's Kip. That's probably before your time when we first did the plot back in 2003 or 4 or 5. I can't remember the year for sure. That was one of the requirements we wanted. The village wanted to have a conservation easement, so nothing can be done outside of that area.
Is it accessible to public use?
No, it's just for keeping the trees that are there is what it was about.
Basically, it'll restrict current homeowners from going down there.
So each of those pieces of the pie are part of the landowner's property that is adjacent to it. Is that correct?
Correct. So they own the property. They just have a conservation easement on a portion of their lot that they can't touch.
They have a deep
But they can't build a shed on it or anything like that.
Or a chicken coop.
Is there anything in a covenant that restricts cutting trees of a certain caliber or something for that area?
Can't touch anything, can
Usually add stuff is all you can do in the conservation easement.
Okay.
But the covenants would address that though also, yes.
I just wanted to mention one more thing. Just a housekeeping kind of thing in the preliminary plat narrative. Because this is going past us to the village board at some point.
Correct.
On page 1, after the cover page. Criteria per section 98-35G of the village code, item number 4. I'm sorry, 4. The pattern of proposed development land use consists of 20, or it should say 20 single family homes instead of twin lot homes.
Catch.
Good catch. We will get that corrected.
Thank you.
Where's the commission's feelings on the sidewalk issue, north or south?
North.
Rob?
North.
Tom?
North.
Jared? Robert?
North.
Gene might have missed part of that. Did you hear the part about the sidewalk, Gene?
Gene, you're on mute. There you go.
I guess north has to be where it is if that's where they are.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? Would anyone like to propose a motion?
I'm going to only say one thing, that I am saddened by the impact on the woods, especially on the north property line of this development. So I feel the heartache that those landowners to the north have.
I agree with you.
I mean, you have my sympathy.
I agree with you, Rob. That's very sad. I've walked up there and hiked up there, and that's very sad.
Thanks, guys. It's devastating to us, actually.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what we can do. Unfortunately, we don't really have a strong tree replacement ordinance, and it's not. We can't rewrite the code here. I don't think.
No.
We just have a lot of trees, and unfortunately, there are a lot of in order for development to happen, sometimes that impacts negatively some of the trees. That's a sad part.
As far as development, the first phase of development abutted my property, and we were very concerned, like you are right now. And of course, in preparation for that, we planted our own trees, and now they're 30 feet high, and you can barely see the homes that are much closer than these are going to be to your homes, except for the one on the far end. So if it's any reassurance to you, time does heal all wounds,
Are there any trees that could be relocated? I'm looking at the pine trees and things like that might have the ability to be spaded and relocated. I'm just curious from a developer's perspective, if there's anything that could mitigate some of the neighbors' issues, without great expense. I don't know.
We're on a public hearing.
Oh, I think, guys, the only trees that concern us are the two very large ancient oaks that are on that property line. The rest of it, we're not so worried about, but those trees are probably 200 to 300 years old.
Yeah, and to protect those, you need to be about the drip line of the tree itself. You can't put a 3-foot retaining wall around the trunk. You have to be out, 20 feet from the trunk to create an arc.
We understand the consequences.
Yep.
So maybe those trees have to be identified in this plan, and maybe there's a way they can be mitigated based on drainage and retaining wall use or something. I don't know.
Well, they're very close to that high point between lot 120 and 121. So there's a potential that the drainage dish might not affect them.
Right.
If care is taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I think if we can put the line down for that north line, then we can perhaps find an arborist, or the Derek guys and Kip, if you can help us in this room, that would be really.
I don't think you understand. We only take trees down if we have to. We want the trees too.
Perfect. Okay, if we can move forward on that, I think you'll have happy neighbors.
Would you be able to also be kindly enough, is when you're doing the line, would there be a way that you could mark the trees that are subjectively to be removed to help these neighbors understand and see what may change on your grade and everything? Because yes, just putting a couple spikes in the ground, but as you say, you wouldn't like to do some, but can you help get an idea? And it's not a guarantee that they're not, but maybe it can kind of help them get an idea, and then in the spring, may give them an idea of where to plant their own trees in their backyards.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would let you know that the way the plan is right now, we're grading with that grading ditch going in there. We're going to be grading very close to the property line. So I mean, if we stake the property line, the assumption would be anything south of that property line is potentially going to be taken out. Obviously, like Ron said, if there's a huge, beautiful oak and it's within a couple of feet of where we're grading, we can possibly try to work around it. But as Rob alluded to also, I mean, with roots and drip line systems, all that, I mean, unless you're 20, 30 feet away from that trunk, you know, it's not guaranteed to have to do grading by it.
Okay, so you guys don't know as of now if you're taking down those trees?
I don't think they
Because
know.
they're right along, they're within feet of the property line.
We did not shoot in individual trees, so I don't have any idea where those exact trees are that you're referencing. So the answer is no, we don't know that answer.
Can the neighbors put a big, Post-it note on them? Put a piece of paper on.
I've got lots of those.
Certainly not a target.
Right.
Would there be something that could be done if they are coming down? Like, if there's some cherries in there, I don't know. I know red oak and cherries and whatever else. Would there be something that maybe before they're completely bulldozed, that they could be taken away in such a manner that maybe the neighbors could have them milled? If I know that you care about these trees in one way that people care about trees, is sometimes getting them milled, and then they can build stuff in and around their house out of said trees that they really liked. Is there any middle ground there that you could all work together on, I guess, if they do have to come down? Just an idea. I don't know if the neighbors would be interested in that, but
You'd replace that chicken coop.
could build a chicken coop out of the red oak.
Okay, Rob.
The chicken coop has wheels, we're good.
Guys, I have one more concern, and this is again Jeff and Mary at 281. Those two big oaks we were talking about are on our side of that back property. However, if because of the grading, those trees die, that's going to cost us many thousands of dollars to have those trees removed. Has anybody taken that into consideration?
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Might be a question for our attorney.
Yes, indeed. We just had one taken out this summer. What was it?
It was, I want to say it was $2,300 to have that thing.
$2,300 to have a tree smaller than those two removed.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, this is Paul Mahler, and I don't think there's any obligation on the part of the developer to pay to take the tree down. They can voluntarily do that if they want to, or they could do it as part of the grading initially. But after the fact, no, I don't think there's any obligation.
So if their grading comes right up to the trunk and the tree's not on their property and the tree dies, it's not the developer's?
Well, the roots are on the developer's property.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
I mean, I think we're getting off the point here, and I think
we're getting off track.
I think the public hearing's been closed for a while. So
I just gave it a little latitude just to get that one question answered.
Yeah, and if I may step in and say one thing on Derek's behalf, we built here in 2004, and there were quite a few trees taken out, but they did go over the top and save the ones that they could, because we have quite a few trees right outside our door. So it's not like they came in and just demolished all the trees. They were pretty selective and careful. It kind of seems like we're getting a little heavy on one side, but I do, feel for the homeowners on the north about these two trees. But in Derek's behalf, they did an excellent job with our lot, with protecting what they could and not eliminating everything. So I just wanted to put that in.
And my comment then is Rob, in case you were going to be making the motion, and this is going to the village board, you might want to put in a little, let's think about this in one of your conditions. How's that for subtlety? I'm looking for a motion here.
I think
I'm sorry, Rob, I don't hear you.
I think my microphone is, am I losing connection?
Just in time.
Well, all right. Anybody else want to make a motion?
I like to listen to you, Rob.
Okay, is there a recommended one here?
Yes, there is. There's an issue statement.
Where is it?
It's a full page.
Oh, jeez. I gotta find it. Issue statement. There it is. All right, this one?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'd say the only thing, I mean, I'm just going to, all of these comments are appropriate. I think the conversation about the sidewalk and then,
Be specific on number 5 on the sidewalk.
yeah, I will. And then the only other one is so number 5 and the staking of the north property line. That was from lot 119 to 124. And then pre-issue, but I don't know exactly what to say.
Just a recommendation to be looked at.
Yeah, okay. All right, I move approval of the motion to recommend approval of the preliminary plot for the Ridges 3rd edition with the following conditions. I will read them all. Is that correct? I should? Okay.
Can I ask one quick question? I heard that there was issues with the pump and pump station. What exactly were said issues? And you said that they would be able to be worked out. What quite did that mean? We covered that right in the beginning, but I guess that just kind of sticks in my mind that it'll work itself out. You guys have that planned out?
Kevin, is that what you had for number 6? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, so basically, there's going to have to be the station itself. It's got to be built. Typically, there's a skid that's put together with all the pumps and things that go together with those. It's a matter of, getting that manufactured and installed into the building. Again, the stubs are there, the water main connections are there, so it's going to be fairly easy to connect to. It's a matter of physically getting that piece of equipment in there. And
Yeah, so if it's part of the condition of the plat, it'll be done, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Where's it located? I don't even know where it is.
It's going to be in that Chief Jansen's, where the restroom building is.
In the parkland area.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Anything else before the motion's made?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. I move to recommend approval of the preliminary plot for the Ridges 3rd edition with the following conditions. Number 1, a developer's agreement shall be prepared and executed between the developer and village, which outlines the terms and conditions of the subdivision prior to commencing construction. Number 2, all public improvements that are constructed by the developer shall carry a 14-month warranty period running in favor of the village from the date of final acceptance by the village. All appropriate village, St. Clair County planning and zoning, and Wisconsin DNR approvals shall be obtained and forwarded to the village prior to commencing construction. Number 4, construction specifications shall be provided to the village for review prior to commencing construction. Number 5, a sidewalk crossing is proposed just north of Alta Court North. That is not correct. Hang on here, let me just reword this now. Number 5, a sidewalk shall be provided on the north and west side of Alta Avenue North, connecting to the extension of the sidewalk on the south end of Alta Avenue North.
Of 10th Street.
To
Alta
10th
and
Street. To 10th Street.
Yeah.
Is that where it goes?
No.
No,
Alta
no.
and 10th.
Hold on. Alta and Vale Way North.
Yeah, there you go.
to the extension of the sidewalk that exists on Alta Avenue north of Vale Way North. Does that?
Oh, yeah, no, I meant that extend the existing sidewalk on Alta Avenue North
to 10th Street North.
to 10th Street North.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay.
The existing sidewalk on the north side of 10th Street North.
Yeah,
Friendly
Right.
amendment.
I'm approving of that. Okay. Is that okay, Jessica? Okay. Number 6, because of the higher elevations in this phase, a water booster station is needed for providing minimum working pressures. Wisconsin DNR requires a minimum static pressure of 35 PSI supplied to the first floor. The new station is planned to be housed in the existing park building. The water main connections are already stubbed in. The station will need to be fully operational before any building occupancy permits are issued. Parkland dedication has already been addressed with previous improvements. Street light locations along the details shall be provided for review. I would recommend they be on the side of the street as the sidewalk. Street lights. Provide sizing calculations for the proposed storm sewer. As soon as possible, stake the north property line of the development between the west end of lot 119 and the east end of lot 124. And that's number 10. And number 11 is the developer to make accommodations for retraining existing trees as much as possible.
I will second that with a friendly amendment. At the beginning, move to approve the preliminary plat with the following 9 conditions and 2 recommendations.
Okay.
And that is the second, Mary?
Yes.
Yeah, the number 10 and 11 are recommendations.
Right. Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Is there any other comments? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion as made and seconded, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Routine business, Jessica, there is no business, no other business, okay.
I have a question, Chairman.
And
Mr.
yeah,
Chairman?
thank you for setting us up with these iPads, those of us who needed them. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Anyone?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
under routine business,
yes.
I know we had a CUP review for Midwest Imports that was supposed to happen this month. Requesting that be on a future planning commission agenda to review.
Yeah, it should be on the February's agenda. There'll be another item on there as well. The Midwest Auto, they were extended through January 31st, so that's why they didn't show up on this month.
Okay.
Okay. And any other news on the elevator?
Any other, I have one other just comment about, I will probably be inaccessible for a couple months, so I'll be out February and March. Or I mean March.
Okay.
March.
Well, don't miss my farewell one in May. Okay, is there a motion for adjournment?
So move.
I move. Second.
Well, second? Okay, all in favor of adjournment? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.